When we last left you, Seton was mulling over some poll questions. One had to do with, should we ban students storming the court? Wake students did that. They rushed the court after the home win against Duke. Kyle Filipowski, the big man, got his ankle turned a little bit there, and all of a sudden we have a controversy. I've been saying this for years now. It's going to take a terrible accident, and then we're going to stop it or do our best to stop it. It feels like whenever it happens, storm the court, Caitlin Clark gets knocked down after the Ohio State game, this situation here, and then we, all of a sudden, we're outraged, and then we move on. And we'll do the same thing with this until somebody is actually really hurt. Imagine if he had fallen down, he would have been trampled. Now we have a serious, serious situation. What can you do when you watch security there? If you've ever gone to a game and you have security, and it's usually an older gentleman who probably loves the access to sitting close to the court. Students are going to come out, all different parts of the stadium or arena, and you're going to be helpless there. But the players are on the floor. I guess what I was surprised at, and I'm in no way blaming Kyle Filipowski, but you're used to being stormed because you're Duke. Whenever somebody beats you at their place, they're going to storm the court. The other players got over to the bench quickly, and Kyle didn't. And I was surprised at that because you would think Wake is beating you. They just beat you. Now you need to get off the floor. And you could see it was going to happen there. But until there is something that is bad, God forbid, tragic, we look at it and, that's March Madness. Well, ESPN helped glamorize this because when it was championship week and all of a sudden Lehigh beats Bucknell and the students rush the floor, it's like, that's awesome. Hey, let's lead SportsCenter with that. Nothing says March Madness like storming the court. All right. So now if you're a student, you want to be on TV. You want to be on the floor. Hey, I was there. That's what happens. Now it just feels like that's the norm, like you're supposed to do that. Here's the Duke head coach, Jon Scheyer.
Disappointed we lost. But look, for me, I'm more concerned about the well-being of our guys. Flip sprains his ankle. When are we going to ban court storming? When are we going to ban that? How many times does a player have to get into something where they get punched or they get pushed or they get taunted right in their face? And it's a dangerous thing. But you look around the country and Caitlin Clark, something happens. And now Flip, I don't know what his status is going to be. He sprains his ankle. It's one thing, like when I played, at least it was 10 seconds in the court, you would storm the court. Now it's the buzzer doesn't even go off and they're running on the floor. And this has happened to us a bunch this year. I don't want this to take away at all from Wake. They earned it. They deserve the win. They're really good.
Okay. So what are the solutions here? They've fined some schools in the SEC, like $100,000. They don't care. Like the student doesn't care. Student's like, yeah, we still want to rush the field. We want to be out there. Hey, the next time it's $250,000. They don't care. Why would the student care? Now you're going to beef up security? No. How are you going to do that? How do you stop kids from wanting to run the floor? Because we've accepted it. We've celebrated it. It's like the NFL used to put out those videos about the biggest hits, like really violent hits. Hey, we're celebrating this. Hey, there's a lawsuit on concussion. Oh, we're not going to do that anymore. But in the moment, you were celebrating. Look at that guy get his face mangled. 1999. And we'll throw in the NFL phone as well. And a lamp if you'd like to. College basketball, the networks, they celebrated this. They showcase this. Every highlight during championship week when I used to work at the mothership, they would show the kids storming the court. Like that's the end of the highlight. It's just standard procedure. Now, if somebody wants to come up with some kind of scenario, solution, great. I'm all for it. I just don't want this to be where I come in one morning and say, I told you so. Yep. Hey, that's when we have change. We have change when something bad happens. Like, we got to change that. Nobody's offering up solutions on changing anything right now until something bad happens. And then we go, how did we get to this point? Why do we allow this? Seems kind of crazy. Hey, kids, come on down and run the floor. What could go wrong? Can you say over the public address do a public address announcement? Hey, you must wait for the players to leave the court before you can go on the court. I mean, sounds good in theory. So who has a solution? Paulie?
Some people have said on social media that you should hire more actual police and people who run in the court are subject to arrest. But you could see how that would blow up in your face, because what will the policeman do physically to a 19-year-old young lady who's running on the court? What would they be allowed to do? And the schools wouldn't want their students who are paying $50,000 a year to be manhandled by police.
Yeah.
Risk management. The SEC fines the athletic department $100,000 for storming the field. This is football, college football.
Yeah.
$250,000, then it's $500,000, and so on and so on. It hasn't stopped it. You just have to pay. It doesn't happen as often, I would say, in the SEC as people rush the field, but now there's an actual fine to it. I don't think it stopped it in any way, though.
No. Because once again, if I'm a fan, I'm a student, I don't care that the university has to pay $100,000. The university may care, but a student doesn't care. Yes, Eden.
I mean, I get that there's expense, and I'm not saying that it needs to be police officers, but wouldn't more security just do it?
But I don't know if everybody, let's say it's Lehigh and Bucknell. Are they going to have more security there? Do they want to spend more for security? Whereas, Purdue or Duke or, some of these other big time programs, how much police presence do you want there? I don't know. Yeah, Marv.
Do you do it like whenever Caitlin Clark's in town, like the court storming that just happened? Hey, they're playing Iowa. Let's get 20 more security guards. Or anytime Duke plays an away game, because they are the marquee team in college basketball, do you go, hey, can I get another 30 security guards just in case?
What kind of authority are you going to give these men and women who are policing the court? Like how do you say, hey, you're allowed to do this or not allowed to do this? I just don't know if there's a great solution. Todd, you were at the Wake Forest Duke game.
I was. There's no magic number of security guards, and some of them are elderly. I saw the kids starting to come down from the second level and the back of the first level in the student section before the clock hit zero. There was 1.8 seconds left before Duke was going to inbound it. And I saw a small group in shiny green staff, I guess, jackets, but that wasn't going to do it. I don't know what the amount of people would be, but like you said, you're not going to start spraying mace at people. Like, what authority do you have? How do you possibly stop that if thousands of kids are running?
Yeah, Paul.
You're right, though. If you watch the video again, it's like the Duke players are very conditioned to this. They've been stormed before, even the younger guys. They sprint to the bench for the guys.
Everybody did except for Kyle Filipowski.
Now, he was on the other end of the court. It was not easy for him to get out of the situation he was in any way, so it wasn't his fault. But I would say one thing, you almost wish you could make it not cool to storm the court, because Wake was a 2-point favorite. You shouldn't storm. I know it's a historical court storming because you're beating Duke at home. It's not about this year. But you wish you could make it uncool to storm the court. There was a coach a couple weeks ago, I can't remember which game, Clemson or something, and he gets on the PA and says, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. And no one ran on the court. Yeah. Now, if a buzzer beater happens.
Yeah, that's just it. March Madness, when you have these conference tournament weeks and you punch your ticket and you get to go to the big dance and everybody's got to be on the court. Like we're just courting disaster. I mean, we are. Yes, Eden.
It's kind of more of like a societal issue than it is a sports issue, because there's like if you're a kid right now and your basketball team wins, whether you're in high school or college, you storm the court because that's what you do. Yeah. You just storm the court, but there's no real recourse for what happens when you do, or nor is there. Say in the NBA, Russell Westbrook has had 1 million run-ins with fans. Kevin Durant was just barking back at some dude who, because they have a couple of beers, think that it's okay to yell at people, and they know that there's nothing that can be done, because if you're a player and you get a fan removed, now you're the bad guy. Yeah. Even though there's no code of conduct for fan behavior anymore. And frankly, because people just don't understand a punch in the face anymore. And back when you used to understand getting punched in the face for opening your mouth, then it was like, I probably shouldn't do that anymore.
Yes, Todd.
It may be asking a lot, but I like what Paulie's onto. If you somehow make it like, act like you've been there before kind of thing when you flip the football after you get a touchdown kind of thing. Make it like, don't make it such a big deal.
Right.
You're giving Duke all this love by, oh my God, I can't believe we beat Duke. We got to storm the court. This is like our March Madness game. We may not even make the tournament. If you make it like, hey, this is a good win, but it gives the other team too much power to act like it's New Year's.
But once again, if you're a fan, and let's say you're a student, and hey, I've never rushed the court before. Let's do it. Hey, it's Duke. We beat Duke. Yeah, but we're favored. Like, I don't think the students have these conversations. Hey, Tommy, let's storm the court. Jimmy, we're favored by 2. Okay, let's sit here. It's just not going to happen that way.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah. Yes, Marv.
Yeah, a 19-year-old isn't going to say, Chris Paul went here, Tim Duncan went here. We're better than this. No, we don't know that. They've been terrible our entire 2 years, 3 years that we've been here. Let's celebrate.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah. We need our moment here. Yes, Seton.
Yeah, man, I think schools just need to take it more seriously. And fines don't matter, right? Because that's $100,000 is their paperclip budget. Nobody cares, you know? But just hire some more security and don't let people run onto the court. And then magically, guess what? Problem is solved.
Chris in Florida. Good morning, Chris. What's on your mind?
Good morning, guys. Hey, my solution is make it known that if you storm the court, you lose the game. You forfeit the game. Like you get this great victory, but if we run on the court, we don't get the victory.
Yeah, it's not realistic. It's not realistic. It's just not. How many, let's say one person, let's say you had somebody who was a Duke fan, but they didn't have Duke colors on, and they stormed the court, so Duke wins the game. Like, you have to be practical with this. And as much as we go, yeah, if you storm the court, well, how many? 4? 7? 90? Then you lose the game? Not going to happen. Yeah, Paul.
We've been dealing with this on this show. I'm checking my old rundown notes at least a dozen times. We suggested in 2013 the court stroll instead of the court storm, where everyone just walks casually onto the court and lets the other team calmly leave the court. Didn't catch on.
Yeah.
The court stroll did not catch on. We won.
Yeah, we're going to get down there, and then we're going to jump around.
When we can.
And then we'll raise the roof.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. Yes, Todd.
Can you threaten students with expulsion? Could you actually put handcuffs on some of these kids and make them stay, hold them overnight? Like, it's got to be something more serious.
Okay. Let's say, hypothetically, your daughter stormed the court at Wake Forest. All of her friends are doing it.
Yeah.
And then she gets kicked out of school.
I would hope there would be one warning, and if you do it a second
no. There's no
We're all
one
students,
warning.
not just for my kid.
No.
There was a warning. They
told you if you go on there, you
I
risk.
see what you're saying. That seems pretty harsh. All the work you did to get into a
you
school,
just
and now you're done.
You just suggested this.
Maybe we should amend it so you get the one warning, and if they have you on the list, then you get caught a second time.
All right,
How many
Todd.
times are you going to rush the court in
Thank
your
you, Todd.
college career?